longer cheaper, that would bring the industry home, that would boost employment here, it would expand business and expand production and put the U.S. more in charge of its own future. Those are the potential positives. But what about the potential negatives in all of this? You could see consumer prices being pushed up on both sides of the border. Remember, you're getting things cheaply right now because of the way business is done now. That would change. It could also drive up production costs for U.S. companies because now they have to get supplies and things from Mexico that are going to cost them more. That may make them cut back some of those jobs that are won back. And in a worst-case scenario, Mexico has its own sanctions in place. Maybe other countries get involved. You have an all-out trade war, and then a lot of people could suffer, Anderson.
A lot of focus, obviously, on the wall today as well. How complicated of a project is that potentially?
Well, it's not getting any easier, I'll tell you that. Look, let's look at the basic facts here. The wall would have to cover somehow 2,000 miles of border here. Up here, you see what we've highlighted? Those are areas largely to the west here where there are already some kind of fences or walls in place. A lot of it is like this. It is these vehicle fences. They're relatively simple, relatively inexpensive. They keep people from driving in. Other areas have these pedestrian fences that look like this. They're more complicated. They're more expensive. So what does Donald Trump want to have? Well, what he's talking about would be a 40-foot version of a wall. We don't know what it would look like, but in relationship to me, it would be roughly this big, and he wants to cover about 1,000 miles of the border with it. That is a tall order, because remember, it's going to have to go through river bottoms and be on sand and on rock, and it's going to have to go uphill and downhill on private land, on public land, through environmentally sensitive lands. It's going to have to go into a lot of places. That's technologically a challenge, it's politically a challenge, and there is an economic challenge there too, which is the price tag. He says Mexico will pay for it, they say they won't. Some in Congress now, and his own party are now saying they think this project could cost up to $15 billion, or roughly 10 times as much as we spent on 10 shuttle launches. Anderson.
All right, Tom Foreman, thanks for that. Back at the panel, joining us this hour is Democratic strategist Jonathan Tassini. We haven't heard from you tonight, Jonathan. What do you make of this? Because, I mean, again, this is stuff Donald Trump can't